Hi, in this video we'll discuss how to implement a solution for one of the versions of the free design assignment. In your particular semester, in your particular assignment, there might be differences compared with this video. The, uh, there are several questions, so your question probably will not be this one, and also um, the requirements may be different from the requirements used to do this video. So read your instruction, read the conventions for your particular submission and follow those. If you receive this video as feedback, still can be uh, your particular solution may be different from this one in several aspects, but the main idea will be the same. So the main issues will be the same like in this video, while some details may be different. Don't consider that the solution here it's a solution that you needed to create, but follow the feedback received to identify your specific mistakes. So um, we receive a requirement to do a database for a soccer league. So let's start by creating a model. We go on the model, we create a new model, and we add a new diagram. And again, I assume you already read, you have the idea of the requirements. I will just show you how I am implementing them step by step. So I will not have all the steps completely described, or I will not first read the instructions and requirements. So first entity that we can identify is about seasons. And we know that we need to keep a entity about seasons because for a season we also keep some attributes like starting date, ending date, um, for registration, and also for starting date and ending date for the season itself. So we not only have a name, but also we have dates associated with the season. Also, um, we may want to compare the fall season in different years, and therefore means that this composite attribute like fall 2020 will need to be divided in simple attributes like season, fall, and year 2020. So that's why um, season name and year, season year. So let's start by creating this entity, and I click on entity, I put somewhere on the screen, and I open this entity, and I will have here uh, the name of the entity, season, and we'll have a season name, which will be, we already know the names, we can fall, spring, winter, summer, so we know that the maximum name is 6, so we can make it a but we have also one of 4, so we can make it for now a varchar of 6. This is a predefined, and while is required is not unique. um, we'll discuss the primary key in a moment, so I'll not mark anything as primary key. And we have the year for the season that I can make it a decimal of 4, or I can make it integer. So the year also will be required. Now, the next information I have registration start, registration end, and season start and season end. So um, let's add all of these: registration start, and this will be a date. Sure, you can say registration start date, but it will be a little bit long. Um, and as you can imagine, a season must has all these information, so I must have registration start and registration end associated with the season. So I can safely assume they are not null, and the issue is if they are unique or not. And based on how the seasons are organized, I can say, okay, probably for all the seasons, the start date, the end date are unique. It is not anticipated to have the start date of fall and start date of spring to be the same, or registration for fall or registration for spring to be the same. So while it's not specified here, I will anticipate this to be unique. But if you they are again, it's more a logical deduction is not something that is in the specification. Um and I will have here start date and which will be also a date, and I will have and again all of these will be unique. So will be required and unique and end date for the season. Now we have all these attributes and we need to decide on a primary key. And this is pretty complicated because we have four candidate key. All these dates are candidate keys because they are required and unique. But none of them is a good primary key. Why? Because first of all, some of them may change. Like the season star may change one day before or after. All of these dates may change and they are dates. We rarely keep a primary key as a date. There are very special cases where we can do that, but usually we don't put a date as a primary key. Now, uh, even if let's look at other candidate keys. And another possible candidate key will be to take the name and the year, like fall 2020, as a primary key. And even if it seems a little bit more uh, difficult to make because it will be a composite with two attributes and will generate a lot of problems. Uh, in this case, it will be a very clear primary key. Now, there is another option. So this will be again likely uh, to be a better primary key than the other candidates keys, the combination of name of year. However, all these database will be related to seasons. So everything that we'll do will be related to seasons. And because of that, I don't like to have a composite primary key for these entities that will determine a lot of other values. So I will use it a lot as a foreign key. So I will prefer to create an easy to generate kind of primary key, and I may keep some semantics in it as well because these seasons will not change semantics, are predefined. And one easy way to do it, you may have a char of three where the first letter is fall, spring, winter, or summer. You may use P for spring and U for summer and F and W. So it will signify the season, and then you'll have two digits for the year. So, uh, and it's a code that you can generate easily and will serve as a good primary key. So I will create an ID for the season, even, and I will make this char of three in this case. And sure, you can make it int or you can make it anything else. And as a limit, you can also keep name and year as a primary key. That will be reasonable, but this surrogate key of three characters in this case is much better. Okay, something happened here. Okay, okay, okay. I move it up, and now it's at the top. So let's see what we have here. This is the entities that we obtained. We created a surrogate primary key with three characters. You can have a code to generate this based on name and year. and then we have the registration dates. So this pretty much satisfies requirements related to the season, and these are the final elements. Now, next, we know that in each season the league has several divisions organized based on age, sex, rank. For a division, we keep a unique contact email and a phone for the teams to report the results. So now we know that we have in a season a division, and this fragment will give us not only a new entity division, but will give us a relationship between season and division, because in a season I have divisions, and the divisions will belong to a season. So uh, I must have a relationship from season to division. So let's create first division without linking it to the season, and then we'll link based on the relationship. So uh, let's create division. Okay, because of my resolution, sometimes this happens. Uh, the name of the entity disappears. It's actually duplicated. So what I can try is to make some more space here, or I will need to close this and open it again. Let me close it. I'll save here T3, and okay, let's open again. And this one, now it look nice. Um, so let's put division, and let's start identifying the particular attributes. So we'll have based on age, like under 14, under 7, and so on. So this is how it's specified. So age here, I know that it's U, but U is from under. Um, so I can just put the age. I can just put 14 because that's the important information. U is just a standard character that will appear always. Um, so let's put this age, uh, which we may keep it as an int, or we can put decimal of 2. It will also make sense because I will have only 2 digits at most. Um, and these will be uh, this will be required. I need to specify what it is, but it's not unique because I can have several divisions for the same age. Then I will have the sex of the players, and here it's boys, girls, or female, male. So a single character will fit well. So, and again, it's required, but it's not unique because I can have several with for several divisions for girls and so on. And rank, which means okay, I can rank the division, this first division, second division, for the same age and sex, and this will be again like an integer will do it well. And again, it's not unique because for different ages I can have first division for different ages. So um, this will also not be uh, a unique attribute. And also for a division, we'll keep a contact email, and this will be 25 characters. And the problem here is that it doesn't mention that is unique or not. It's required because it's specified like this, but doesn't tell me if it's unique. So as usual, if it's not indicating that must be unique, I will not add this constraint because it's not specified. And the phone for the team to report results. You may assume you may have two divisions that are managed by the same person, so we'll have the same email and phone. So we'll not put this as being unique. And for the phone, we'll have this format that is a fixed character length of 12. So let's put here character of 12. And again, it's required, but will not put as unique because it's not specified like this. Now, uh, this will be these will be all the attributes for our division. I still don't have a primary key. Let's look at some candidate keys. If we look at age, sex, and rank, this triplet will be a good candidate key because for the same age, for the same sex, and sure, in a given season, I will have only one division of a given rank. So I can have a primary key that will be a composite primary key with these three attributes. But again, we'll work with many divisions, and these divisions will be used in many places in our database. So I will not use such a complex primary key if not needed. So for now, I will just take the previous approach, uh, and I will create an ID for the division, a surrogate key. And here it might be a little bit more complicated. I will make it an int because it's much harder to create a kind of code for it and uh, to maintain such a code. So I will just give divisions a random name, random number as their ID. And if I make this surrogate key, it will be something like this. Sure, you can still have other data types for your surrogate key that will be fine. So int is not the only solution. Now, let's link the two, season and division, and we need to ask the question. In a season, we'll have many divisions, but a given division will belong to a single season. So division is many, season is one. So you'll have one-to-many relationship. So let's define this one-to-many, and it will be weak because they have different primary keys. Now, as I put it here, uh, I will need to move the primary key up, and because I define it at the end, I need to move it up so to be the first one. Always is good to start with the primary key, but sometimes you will create it at the end. So this will be a weak relationship between division. We first click on the many parts, which should be division, and then on the one part, and the relationship will appear. So let's double click on the relationship and modify it. Uh, season uh, season contains, and contains is pretty generic. I can put contains division. I know it will sound a little bit of duplication, but it will make uh, my relationship name unique compared with other relationship names. So a season contains a division, and let me see if I have anything. I have clubs, I have teams, uh, and I have some rules here. Each season, a registered team is assigned to a given division and may change in rank. uh, and the league wants to keep the history over time. Okay, this is what we want. When a new season is created, there are no divisions. Then the divisions in the season are created. So what means I may have a season with no divisions, but when I create a division, I must have a season. So means division will be optional, but the season needs to remain mandatory because when I create a season, I have no division, so it's optional. But when I create a division, I must specify the season for which this division is created. So this pretty much finished our first relationship. Let's move on, and the next step will be to look um, at clubs. The league has many clubs. Now, see, these clubs are somehow independent from what we discussed up to now. So it's like a new entity. For a club, we'll keep this information and some other information. And this seems to be all about the clubs. If we look more, so let's create this as a new entity. Doesn't seem to be linked necessarily with season and division in this description. So we'll just create now an entity that will be independent. So let's click on the entity and put it here for now. And let's put club as the name of the entity. I know that you don't see it, but if you work at the normal resolution, you will see it. If I work as a normal resolution, your screen will be very small. So that's why I work at this reduced resolution so you can see better uh, the recording. Now let's put here the attributes. So we'll have the name of maximum 20 characters. Name. So this will be of maximum, so it will be a variable character of 20. And I don't know if I want to put any primary key for now. A contact email of maximum 25 characters. So email, and here I'll have 25 as a maximum. And the name, let's discuss the characteristics. Uh, so we'll always have a name. Now the question if it's unique or not. And that's a big question. Usually you may assume that the clubs in a league have different names, and clubs generally try to have different names compared with other clubs to be recognizable. Uh, it is less likely to have, but there is no indication here. So uh, we may consider them unique. We don't have any indication. We don't want to confuse too much in our league to have two clubs that have the same name because then it will be confusing. So you may make this a requirement. Is not specified, however. So if you don't put it unique, I can understand that. Um so it is not such a big mistake. But here, because you register and you do for a league, you may put this as a database requirement, so you will be sure nobody by mistake will register two clubs with the same name. Because it will be confusing for your league to have two clubs with the same name. People will, so if there are in reality two clubs with the same name, you can add some, you can force them to add something, for instance, the city or some other information to their club name when they register, and that's what typically it happens. Now, because of that, I can put it unique, and this will be the right way to do it. Now, again, I will have an email, and here, because the email is for a different club, it's clearly required, but I also assume that it's unique because it's not expected to have two clubs with the same management. Clubs are different management, different people. That's the idea of a club. So again, is not specified, but common sense will dictate all these unique characteristics. And phone, uh, which has this format, same format, will be a char of 12, and it's required. And again, we can assume it's unique because it's a different club, it's a different team. You don't want by mistake to put a wrong phone number there. And also we know that some clubs have an abbreviation of maximum 5 characters. Some clubs may have the same abbreviation. So here I specify that this can be here can be a problem, and this happens many times. A club will have an abbreviation that doesn't fit other that duplicate other clubs abbreviations. So let's put here abbreviation, and this will be of maximum 5 characters, and are only some of the clubs, so it's not required, and it's clearly specifies that is not unique. So I will not make it unique in this case. So this is a club, and again, if we look at the attributes, I have a lot of attributes that are good primary keys. Name, email, phone, abbreviation. Abbreviation is not. Name, email, and phone. But none of these will be a good primary key. So phone can change. A club can change their phone contact. Email is the same. As a club may change their email contact. The name, rarely a club changes its name, so it's still not something that will not change, something that will remain the same. So even if here you'll say, okay, name of the club, it's a good primary key, I will not use it as a primary key because it's something that can change in the future, and I don't like to put things as primary keys that can change in the future. And one reason to change is, for instance, another club with the same name will try to register, and then both clubs will need to append something to their name to avoid confusion. So because of that, I will still create a surrogate primary key that I can make it int code for the clubs, and make these as a primary key. Uh, as you can see, I always create surrogate, but it's not true. If there is a good primary key, I will keep that one. I will not always create surrogate primary keys. And sure, many times if you picked a different primary key, your solution will be accepted. Uh, if it's a good, and like there are no issues with it. But if there are issues with that being a primary key, like here the name is not constant, may change for a club, then that's not a good. You don't want to put a primary key that is changing values. You want your primary key to never change its value. So really needs to be something that doesn't change. For instance, the name and year here, the combination of the two, this will not change its value, so it will be constant over time. So this will be a good alternative primary key. We didn't select it here, the composite primary key name and year, because we knew that this will be used, for instance, here as a foreign key, and we wanted to simplify the design. We wanted to have just one way to specify, just one attribute to link season with division and so on. So the club uh, the club uh, has this description. Let's move on. And now we know that a club has many teams, and the team belongs to a single club. So teams are organized based on all these characteristics. And uh, Here again we get team, but we also get a relationship between club and team. So let's create the team first, and then we'll create the relationship. So we have team, and we have uh, the attributes. So we have birth year, which will be, again, you can use a int or you can use a decimal of 4, or this depends how you want to keep it. And sure, it's not unique. You can have two teams at the same birth year, but it's a required information. Sex, it's also, and here you can have various representations. The most common one is char of 1. You can skip BG or FM and so on. And these will be required and not unique. You have several teams. Now, they will have a name of maximum 20 characters. So let's put here name. And I know that the name is unique within the club. So this is what we got here, name of maximum 20 characters, and is unique. So that's what we receive. Uh, and all these have an email and phone contact stored in a similar way with the club information. So let's put here email will be a variable character of 25, and it's a required information. Now, doesn't tell me that this needs to be unique, and you may think of a team having the uh, the same contact phone and email if a parent manage two teams, but uh, so that's something that is possible. Sure, you may say, okay, how the receiver will know which for which team the contact is. Will if a person manage two teams and decide to use the same email address, it's their business. There is no restriction here, and because it's possible to have such a situation, we'll not put the email as unique or the phone number as unique. So again, it's a common sense situation. You need to think about it as in real life. Many times in your specification, you will not have everything, and you will need to think, okay, which is what's happening in the real life. Is it possible to have two persons with the same, two teams with the same contact phone? Yes. So then I will not put it unique. If it's possible, I will not put it unique. If, like in clubs, it's not anticipated to have two clubs because these are different clubs, the phone number will be unique. For a team, the phone number will not be unique. So thinking of the real situation, of the real life situation, it will help you to identify some characteristics of the entities. Now, uh, we need to create a relationship between club and team now. We need first to decide the primary key for the team. So let's look at the team and see. We have name, for instance, as a candidate key, which is good. But the name of the team may change, and this happens. Sometimes the team is named something this year, next year they want to change their name in the club. And even if it's required and unique, because it may change, is not a good primary key. So because if you change your primary key, you will need to change its value everywhere. You need to do a global replacement in your database to change that value. And we as designers, we don't like to allow that because may generate problems. If you forget to do it in one place, you will be in a big trouble. So that's why we don't like to uh, change the values of the primary keys. And if primary key is modifiable, we'll not select it. So I'll again create a surrogate primary key and make it int, and I will make this as the primary key for our entity. and this will be the team. Now we need to create a relationship between club and teams, and this will be a weak relationship. Um, and a club will have many teams. A team will belong to a single club, so you have a one-to-many relationship. We click on menu, we click on one, and this is a relationship. Now we need to give a name and to better describe the relationship. Let's start with the name. Um, let's say club registers, or let me see, belongs, teams are organized. A club has many teams. A team is belonging. Um, register sounds good. The club registers team. And now let's see if we have any indication how this will work. When a new club is added, there are no teams. The teams are added one by one. Your design must support this iterative process. So again, when a new club, there are no teams, means team is optional, while when I create a team, I must have a club that registers the team. So club is mandatory. There are no other restrictions like cardinality restrictions. So this will be what we have here. Now let's look at the uh, let's look at our diagram, and let's go back to the specification. We have the clubs, we have the teams, and now we want to add the seasons. Um, and what we have here is that in each season, a registered team is assigned to a division. So we have a registration between a team and a division. Uh, Now, let's see how this registration will work. So I have each division, each year a team is assigned to a division. So a division will have many teams, and the team over time will be in many divisions. And I say over time because the link wants to keep the history over time. So I want to know in the previous season, and so on, which was the assignment. So so this means that a team will be in many divisions over time, and the division will have many teams. So it's a many-to-many relationship. When we have a many-to-many relationship, we'll need a bridge between them. And to create this, we always use many-to-many symbol because it will automatically create everything for us. So I click on many-to-many, and I click on team and division, and this bridge is automatically created for us. We'll just need to modify all the information. And that's pretty much all that we'll have to do. Now we need to edit this, and let's look how this entity is the best. We'll have here register is assigned, can be assignment, can be registration, but because we use register for club and teams, I would prefer here assignment. So a team and division will have the bridge assignment. So let's modify these. Let's put here, okay, let's do this again. Okay, in my case, I know how to do this. If this happen to you, close and open again, and this will be solved. Now, the name of the uh, other two, the primary key and foreign keys are automatically here. Team ID, division ID. This is enough to create the assignment because it will specify my team and division, and the division is created for a given season. So everything will be in this assignment. I will have everything that I need here. And these are the only attributes. I don't have anything else related to the assignment except to know which is a team and division. Now, be careful when you have foreign keys, you will need to edit their name if you use your suffix prefix, because the suffix and prefix will be duplicated and it will not look nice. You just leave it even at the beginning or at the end as the rule requires. So you will follow the rule on the uh, on your name. So these suffix and prefix are additional things. You don't need to leave everything in the name. It's just a signature that you put to see, for me to see that you work yourself on the diagrams. Um, Now, these are the attributes. Now we need to modify the relationships. And sure, the first we'll need to decide on the name, and we'll have division uh, has team assignment. Uh, so these are the teams assigned to it. And as a foreign key, we can use as a let's look if we have any information related to uh, how they are created. So we create the division, and after that the teams are registered to the corresponding division. So I'll have a division with no assignment at the beginning. So the assignment will be optional. And the division, once I create an assignment, the division needs to be mandatory. And same here, we'll need to put a name first, and let's put here the name will be has div uh, as we can put to be consistent has division assignment. So team has division assignment. It will clarify what relationship is, and we keep the names of the relationships distinct if we want to talk about them. And in this relationship, again, when I have a team, initially will have no assignments, so I can make this optional, and then the team will be mandatory because any assignment needs to specify a team. So this it is. We obtained our diagram, and as you can see, it's a little bit more complex diagram. The diagram starts to look like a real life diagram, and don't forget to sign it. This is something that you need to do anyhow. Even if you put the prefix and suffix, you still need to sign the diagram. And after that, you can take a screenshot with it. Before that, it's good to go again through all the requirements just to be sure that you didn't forget anything to mention. Um, and we can check, and I don't see anything else that needs to be mentioned here. So this is a good solution. Let's take a screenshot with the entire diagram. It's good if you can fit it in a single screenshot like here. And then you can take screenshots for each entity. This might be complicated. Now I will need to do what I said. I need to close and open again because the name of the entity is not seen. I will save this, close, close a model. You can open it again or open some other model first to be sure that the previous model is disappeared. And okay, I close it. Oops, I don't know what's happening here. Let me try again. So I want to open D3, and here it is. So as you can see now, if I click on season, the nice screen will appear. So I can make this big and take a screenshot now. In your case may not happen because I work with a very low resolution for the videos. That's why I have this problem. And I take for division another screenshot, and I take for club another screenshot. It's good to take them in a logical order. So when they are checked uh, easily. And team. So as you can see, as the number of entities grows, you will need more screenshots. And the last one will be the assignment. That is this one. So basically we had 6 screenshots, one with the entire ERD and then one with each of the entities. This concludes our presentation.